How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another YouTube video. Before we get into it, I've got some bad news. My website's been taken down. So if you want to become a member, or for any previous members that want to stay in the chat, you need to sign up through my new website, which will be Patreon. Due to the inconvenience, I'm offering every single new Patreon member a free 30-minute one-to-one mentorship session with myself and any further educational purchases at 50% discount. Just private message me or sign up on the website. Links found down in the description of the video or in my Twitter bio. Enjoy the video. We're seeing Bitcoin finally breaking out. So in my previous update, if we quickly go over the key points from it, there was this bearish head and shoulders pattern. However, due to the trend being bullish, there's that chance we might not see it actually break down and meet the pattern's target. The 200 EMA here on the 1 hour time frame was used as support after the pattern was validated. So we did actually see it break down. It became valid. We're expecting its target. Let me show you that from there to there. So it was actually calling for 90k. If we zoom out slightly, that's the macro 0.5 Fibonacci. So a move was being set up to get down there, but the trend was held up by the 200 EMA. It just took a average of the last 200 hours, and so suggesting if price maintains this average, we're expecting bullish continuation. So although the pattern broke down, the moment it found support on the 200 EMA and recovered the neckline, you can see 2 hours later, the neckline was once again respected as support. We're then waiting for further clues of which direction it wants to take, but early signs that it wants to go higher. Ultimately, in the video the other day, I was saying the 886 needs to break, as there have been multiple rejections from this location in the past. 95.4k needs to break. Once that's broken, the reversal wave has been created. You could wait for 95.7k to break because there's also the macro 6.5 fib, and then on the break of the whichever one, the 886 is a precursor signal. There is more build up on this line than the 1 fib level, so there's more pressure on the 886 to break, because if it maintains, we see what happens. It gave a new low, there was support on the 55, it lost it, put in a new low, created this neckline, had another go at breaking the 886, and we constantly see failures, once again resulting in losing the moving average, the 100 EMA. It did go ahead and test what was considered, in at least from my strategy, the final layer of defense of the 1 hour trend. So we would see the market dumping on the loss of this level down to 90.4k, the 0.5 fib. However, by maintaining it, recovering the neckline, the pattern to the downside is now invalidated for the moment. And to sustain that, it needs to break the 886. So it's done everything it needs to for the bulls. So what is the next step for Bitcoin? I'm now going to zoom out so we can actually see that clearer. Let's go to a macro time frame like the daily, each bar representing a day. And on the break of this 6.5 level, the next zone that we assume is going to be tested is the 786, 886. So that's now our expectation. We're expecting 100k as the target. And remember, zooming back into the 1 hour time frame, we have this Fibonacci tied into that area. It was saying on the break of this 886 and 1 fib level, we're expecting these targets, and we have confluence with the 786 area. I am going to maintain cautious while under 105k, just because in previous examples which I've shown over the past year, we saw multiple instances where it seemed like the bottom was in. Altcoins pumped with Bitcoin for about a month period. It reached the 886, which we still haven't done yet, but here it did. Then it rejected it and put in a new low. We can do it again and see a month after bottoming out on the 1st of May, we get to the 7th of June, reject the 886. So it's crazy because the alts are pumping while Bitcoin's getting up to that level, convincing us it's safe. We're going to see these higher price targets eventually, and it just wasn't the case. I need the proof there. So Everyone's seeing the altcoins going up. Everyone's getting excited again. Yes, deep down inside, I am getting excited, but I'm still going to maintain in capital preservation mode until I see it with my eyes. I need to see it to believe it, and until then, I'm just not believing in it, even though inside I am getting excited, just because lived through it the past year and got wrecked many times buying this all the way up, new low. Now, comparing the bottoms on Bitcoin, it's nothing. Altcoins, that could be a 30-40% drop off between the two lows. Need to understand that, depending on the coin size, obviously. And then once again, new lows after that. Go off of this high. So off that fresh move down to a new low, we can see once again a month passes, or roughly a month, the 5th of July to the 30th of July, almost, but new lows formed, even though alts were pumping all the way up with Bitcoin. Bitcoin got up to the final layer of resistance before confirming these targets up above, and then still goes ahead and puts a new low. Now, of course, Bitcoin naturally going up over time will, of course, at some point break the 886. So measure that fresh move down, and we can see the 886 was broken, thank goodness, and then flipped into support, giving us those higher price targets. That's all I'm waiting for. I know we will see those higher price targets eventually one day, but I need to see the proof in the pudding. I need to see 105k broken. Until then, I'm going to be very cautious. I'm going to stay in capital preservation mode. I don't want to be buying the top of this macro lower high if we fail to break out. That's what it would be considered. I don't want that to be the case. So for me to use a trigger, or whatever that trigger is for me to get into alts, it's when I have that proof that this level is broken. So, but even though I say that, please be aware that ever since this trend line and the moving averages had broken, I was calling for higher price targets. I have been buying Bitcoin the whole way down and in this area and all the way back up constantly. So it's not like I've missed out on anything, just the altcoin gains from the low, but they could be temporary if Bitcoin doesn't sustain through that. That's why I don't want to buy a potential top if this is going to be resistance. But yeah, Bitcoin is bullish. Altcoins are bullish because of Bitcoin. We've now seen Bitcoin break out of the 0.65 Fibonacci today and the micro 886. So this is leading me to believe we should expect 100k next. This is what my strategy is concluding. And this note, of course, doesn't equate to financial advice. This is just my thoughts being shared. If you want to get more exclusive content, ask me any questions, do one-to-one mentorship, take action on my ebook or course, there are links down below.